Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War with the American Revolution mod. We're playing as the United States, or the budding United States, in rebellion against the Crown, i.e. the British. Last time around we were able to... we secured Maine, I believe. We never completed that in the first video. So we secured Maine, and then we were able to continue on because the British abandoned Arcadia, so we took that province as well, or that state. So we've got Maine and Arcadia, which is really good. We're recruiting troops all over. The British have continuously retreated, but another force has turned up under Henry Clinton. Has turned up. And it could be that if I continue chasing this one will just sneak around and attack Arcadia. So instead we will go and meet Clinton before he's able to rendezvous with Michael Hartley. So we'll march through the wilderness with Washington, his cannon, his Minutemen and dragoons and so forth. Leaving this place unprotected for now, but I don't think the British have enough to get there in time. If they do, I have troops I can send there. Oh yeah, since last time as well I've built some stuff and I've recruited some stuff and so forth. Not really changed that much. I think it was like one turn extra that you guys didn't see, but nothing happened. What I have done is, given that I am pretty rich, I'm making 13,000 a turn. I put all my ports to produce the biggest ship they could, which is the brig. So I've produced 3 brigs, put them under the command of Horatio Gates on his Akaton, which is a 40-gun frigate, so the biggest ship we have. And he's gonna sail to deal with the British naval force up here, enabling us to move in on Newfoundland and take that as well, and then later on probably go up and take this area up here as well from the British. There has been some build-up of some forces here, where they've recruited those Ethiopian troops, Ethiopian militia I think it is even. Infantry regiment, 6th regiment of militia, so it's militia regiment. And we have been building up quite the force in Philadelphia. I'm gonna recruit 3 more units, the 3rd New York and 2 guns. But I think it's best to strike while the iron is hot. We are within range to attack Richard Kitchener, which is holding Maryland. And we can take that as this kind of a buffer zone against the British oncoming from the south. There's quite a lot of troops. Right now what's really causing a lot of hurt for the British is the fact that their units are firing just first rank, which I guess goes for all regular standard units. But when they run up against my militia, which fire... every guy in the unit it fires, they kind of get completely stumped by that. Anyways, we've got our spy Henry Knox, and he's going to try to murder his cousin. This guy is also called Fox. So both... No! This guy is called Fox, this guy is called Knox. I'm sorry, they're not cousins at all. So that it's perfectly fine for him to try and murder him. That did not happen. He only had a 31% chance, and he runs away to hide in the forest. But yeah, we're gonna take Maryland this episode. We're gonna pull back then, wait to build up our force, and hopefully then also the Peanut Butter Brigade will be able to take on Henry Clinton and threaten Canada. But we'll start off by having, what was he called? Nathaniel Greene. Go ahead and take Maryland. So they have quite the force. I mean, they got some extra troops there. We're quite even in numbers. The thing what I do is I have the new Jersey battalions, which have an accuracy of 50, which has highest accuracy of any of these units. So I think we stand on pretty good ground, plus we have outnumbered the enemy in cavalry as well. So I would say victory is quite assured for us. Without further ado then, let's liberate Maryland. Pretty simple setup. We've got the New Jersey battalions in the center, dragoons on the side. Let's advance. Right, the British have set up around the kind of defensive situation down there, and then they've got one of their troops down there. I'm not entirely sure about, you know, splitting their troops like that, but I guess they're gonna do what they're gonna do. And now they're only attacking with half their force, sending forth their dragoons and their native militiamen. One of the things, I don't know why it's night battles so often. It seems like we're having a bit too many night battles. And I'm not entirely sure if I even like the night battles, or what even is the point of them. Let's have the New Jersey battalions run into position to prepare to fire upon the enemy. Right, our dragoons open fire on the British dragoons. Whereas long range, so only 3 enemy dragoons got shot. However, now when the New Jersey battalions arrive, I think we'll see quite the difference. 50% accuracy, it is over the extreme range. But we saw quite heavy casualties on the enemy. We also managed to shoot one of the Indians as well. It's kind of funny how, I mean, quite early on people must have realized they weren't in India. But even still today, more or less, we still refer to them as Indians. Even though, yeah, as I said, I mean, almost, maybe not immediately, but already 500 years ago people would have realized, you know what, I don't think these are Indians. Those dragoons, they've taken 10 out of this New Jersey battalion, and they took 5 of my Virginia dragoons. Virginia dragoons moving up again, ready to make another shot towards the British infantry. Not the British infantry, the light dragoons. And hopefully send them off the field. 31 of them left. Dragoons can back off. The enemy is very kind of inept. In my test run, I had a much like more even fight against the enemy. I was testing out playing as the British then, however. So it might be harder if you're going up against the militia that's firing all the guns at the same time, rather than the standard line infantry. I mean, the easiest way to come around this would be just to put everyone on fire, firing the guns all at the same time. I do believe the Indians have gone into hiding in that little bit of forest right there. I believe we will probably run into some problems fighting the Indians, because I can imagine those guys would not fire as we do, and they would fire everyone at the same time. Yep. So this one took 20 casualties in just that one volley from the Mohawk warriors. However, the dragoons are all gone at this point. I guess we'll move into position, try to make short work out of these Native Americans. We do have 4 battalions of my best shooters, or the guys with the most accuracy. We have lost a lot of men out of this one. And it is comparable, really, to us, you know, pulling down fire from 4 battalions, and they just have that one unit. I wonder if the music's a bit loud. Thing is, I'm using just standard music. Should be easier to hear me, and also hear everything else. Right, the Indians are about to give way, and we can meet with the British infantry. We'll keep up the pressure on the enemy, continue marching forwards. We'll attack them from the front on either side, and then have the dragoons move in from the flanks, fire and then charge. Now these two are actually kind of coming out of sync, because these two are supposed to attack at the same time. Same with these. Right, the militia is moving. I want you to stay out of range and hold fire, and not move into range before we are ready to attack. Okay, the British armed citizenry is moving down from the hill, so the dragoons on this side have to pull back. Gonna hold fire over here. These guys will fire at will. They've already started firing at the enemy. Oh, the Indian musketmen also outrange us. Seemingly, so do the British militia. Oh, they're all now being able to lay fire down upon my New Jersey battalions. We'll have these guys fire at will. As soon as they fire, then they will charge in against these. Closing in towards the Lancer Brigade. You will move to this position. Once you're there, fire at will. British are preparing to return fire upon us. You know what? These guys are firing on the flank of this unit. You will move there and then fire on the enemy. And these dragoons will move into the flank over there. This one has to wheel a little bit. Not a nice position to be firing upon the enemy in. So now it's a bit more even, as both sides are just firing first rank. More or less, except for the Indians. Okay, they fired after the general, which was not my intention. They were supposed to be firing at the militia brigade. Right, these guys fired into the flank of this. Hope that's enough. Probably not. They only killed 10 men. Once again, we're kind of sending the Indians off. Oh, they even... Hold your fire and do as I say. I never ordered you to fire upon the British General Bodyguard. We need to send off the body of men in front of you. Seems to be going well up there. Where we charged into the armed citizenry. Not really a uniformed fire, but never mind that. Let's charge in. And as they charge in, I want the New Jersey brigades on this side, or battalions, to move forward. To gain ground. In case this charge is not enough, then these guys can deliver very deadly volleys at close range against the enemy. Suffered quite heavy casualties on my left. Looks like we're not going to be able to take them on in one charge, so we'll retreat. Seems like we got a similar fate over here, where in which we won't be able to defeat them in one go. With that cavalry charge, we'll withdraw. And before the British know what hits them, I will order fire at will. So very close range. Okay, that was pretty poor. However, we do have a lot higher accuracy than the British. So we should come victorious out of this. Plus, I have twice the men. As we have 2 battalions against 1. I'm surprised we aren't just mopping the field with these. These have 50 accuracy. That's an elite status, or at least in normal. Well, even in that case, I mean, they still have 10 more points in accuracy than these guys. Now they do have more troops in this one. They start off with 300 men. Alright, let's see if we can make another charge over here. Those bloody Indians, Mohawk Indians, did surprisingly high amount of damage on that one battalion. However, as I move in my dragoons to attack the enemy from the back, Jesus Christ, the British are still standing. I thought, you know, we would be able to slaughter the British right here. Could be that some shots fly through this unit and hit my dragoons. Ah, there they go. With that, we will turn up and fire on these. Right, the dragoons on this side has been able to get rid of the militia. And with that, I mean, I could continue to chase them, but I want away with those Native Americans. I don't want these guys to come back, but there's not that many of them. You know what? Charge these instead. Right, I want the general advance on the enemy. The battle is over by this point, I have decided. The militia is broken by that one charge. Native Americans falling apart as well, leaving only the British General Bodyguard left standing. We'll turn to see if we can't shoot at him enough that he runs away. Or if he dies. If he dies, he dies. The British armed citizenry back, but look at how thin they've deployed their line. I'm gonna deploy in a much thicker formation and break through that thin line. Oh, they countercharge it. But they will not do well against my dragoons. Quite a few of the British have rallied. It's that brigade. We did see this one off. Right, I want you guys to get all the way up to the wall. And we'll make thin lines all across. Then you two will go against the edge of the forest there and then go through the forest. While the dragoons will double around. See if we can get that general, and so will the other dragoon unit as well. These guys will hold fire as well. I think we might be able to break the enemy's resolve just by the guys we have firing right now. It's only 84 British left in the forest. Right, hurry up, get into position, and we'll march through the forest, fire at close range, and get rid of them. We'll march up to this point, and then fire from there, and shoot them down. Dragoons. We'll actually move to that position right there. I think that's enough. And we can shoot at the enemy general and hopefully send him away. There's the other dragoon. It's coming up there. Surprised that the British hold on. I guess they have a higher what's it called? Morale stats than us. Right, that brigade is gone. These two will now continue through the forest, but it looks as though the dragoon have pushed enough fire into the enemy general to send them away. Humphrey, whatever you were called, is now retreating. And we are victorious. Good. Here we have the results of the battle. So I lost 400 men, leaving about 700 men left. And the enemy lost everything. Highest killer goes to Virginia Dragoons, then to the 3rd Light Dragoons. No surprise there. A bit surprised though that the New Jersey battalions did not kill more than they did. Now they did score quite a lot of hits, but I thought they were gonna score even more, as they have 50 accuracy. We have taken this, but with that we'll actually retreat back to Pennsylvania. And we'll just... No, we will not exempt them from tax. We will tax them. And they'll get no representation whatsoever. Right, with this, we have no more moves to make, so let's go ahead and end turn and see what the British come up with. This guy certainly does not look like a colonial. He looks more like some sort of Transylvanian vampire guy, but he has come out of the woodwork. He's a rustic gentleman and a gentleman scientist, and since he's right next to the school there in Brunswick, he might as well go ahead and join it. Workers on strike in Maryland. We have... who's this? Who's Rufus? Rufus is not one of ours, is he? Or is he? Who is Rufus? And why did he... I don't know who Rufus is. Right, we recruit the Green Mountain Rangers, 3rd New York, and Continental Connecticut Infantry. We built some roads and governor's residence in Maine. And I'll be able to fully replenish these. We've got the 3rd New York, Captain Louis Dubois. Dubois, I mean. Dubois. Dubois. Boy. Darren Percy is moving up. Ready to retake it. You got Frederick Clark coming on pretty close afterwards. And then we've got the big force that we need to look out for under Eli Chamberlain. They're not making that many moves. I thought that... I don't know. I thought they'd be more aggressive. I mean, you would... I think maybe there would be need something to kind of make this entire thing a lot more aggressive. Like, I don't know. If maybe I should halt my advances on the British for a while, just to let them build up the forces. It looks like Henry Clinton has actually dug in, waiting for the reinforcements. You know what? To actually give the British a bit of a fighting chance, we'll close in the forest here. But we'll actually let them combine their forces. So be a little bit more of an even fight. We'll go ahead and build the military barracks all over the place just to make sure that we've can recruit troops in as many places as possible. Or I'm kind of hoping that there is some kind of like an event similar to what happens in a few other Total War games. I don't know if they're able to do that in the mod, but like suddenly sort of the hordes would turn up, so there would be like British reinforcements would turn up along the coast or something. Right, we're only one turn away from actually striking the British force here under David Greene, and we could defeat them there, and that would be rather nice. Diplomatically, nothing really to be done. We'll go ahead and end turn and see if we cannot get a navy fight or some other fight. Maybe I should go ahead and I should make it a bit more difficult for myself by, say, declaring war on all of Britain's ally, because we currently aren't at war with all of them. There's a lot of native nations which the British are allied with, and then also declaring war on the Dutch. That could make it a bit harder for us, as we are trading with them. 2,500 gold, so that would definitely make it a little bit hard for us. But before we go ahead and do anything of that, we'll go ahead and end turn. We develop ring bayonets, so no longer we need any plug bayonets. I never use plug bayonets anyways. This looks more like it. He's a bit far away though. Armchair General and General Industry and a bit of Armchair General. So I think Brunswick would actually do better to do military technology. And you could do something else. It's still 3 turns, but let's see, what were you building? That thing. Or not building, researching. So we got Frederick, we got cannons, we got lots of stuff being built. We've got extra troops over there, cannons being built over here. We could apparently only build 2 of these. Not that I need more. And unfortunately, Henry Clinton moved away. But it seems like they're massing quite the force up in northern Canada. Which I was about to say, is there any other point in Canada than the northern one? This enables us to build up this a little bit. We're gonna build National Observatory. Just gonna check through the... Yeah, there's no like special building. Are we gonna be able to build the White House? I wonder. Through the Governor's Palace? No, it's just gonna go to State House and then nothing. It isn't even named. And their unhappiness didn't last for very long, did it? And the British are even hesitant to even move forward that far. We've got cannon now, so Nathaniel is gonna be able to do a lot more damage. And I think we'll bring in Pennsylvania Marines. Maybe some French. The Colonial Skirmishers are a really good unit because everyone fires, don't they? Or the Veteran Minutemen. Pennsylvania Rifles, Light Infantry. That's a pretty good unit. 55 accuracy. That's more than anything else we have. And we already have Dragoons. So a bit of Minutemen and Pennsylvania Rifles will be recruited in Pennsylvania. George Washington We've got... I mean, the British forces will be able to outnumber us up there north. George Washington should probably strike on everything this side of whatever this river is called. So instead he will march down and will go for... what's this called? Cayunga in the Iroquois territory. What I think we will do is after this video as well is we will make it harder for ourselves by declaring war on everyone and like making it very difficult, or as difficult as we can. We're gonna end the battle with a bit of naval battle, where we're gonna sink the British Navy. And the control of the high seas is about to be wrestled out of the hands of the British. I noticed that it's quite cool that they've actually gone ahead and put, or gone through the trouble of actually adding in the uniforms of the what's it called? The Colonial Marines. However, maybe not as impressive is the fact that they haven't bothered doing the same for the British, where the British still has the standard units, which look god awful. We're gonna lay another broadside into this little sloop. And then also the fact that we start with a pretty big ship. The 48 gun frigate, it's more or less like, almost like the US Constitution, which I think was similar, had a similar amount of guns on it. This one actually has, it says a 40 gun frigate, it actually has 48 guns. I think it's maybe a little bit too big of a ship for the Americans to start with. I don't think we're gonna be able to outrun the, or outmaneuver the brig. We're just gonna... Ooh, damn. That was one massive blast against that one. Finally, the other ships are turning up to be part of the fight. If you could move over here. I guess we're going straight into the wind. It's not that great. See if we can maneuver to a point where we can actually fire on Achilles. Turn down into the wind. And also notice the flag here on the back of the American ship. Do not tread on me. Laying in massive amount of fire on the sloop. The brig still eludes us, but I think I will be able to turn on him right now and lay some good fire into his side. He's been laying quite good fire into our side. There we go. The brig's got quite an open hull, so you can clearly see all the blood spurt around as you shoot down the enemy's crew. Right, I want you to turn in so you can face the brig, blow it apart. I think we'll just weigh anchor and hang around here. Destroy this one. Why don't you chase that ship? Looks like this one's giving way as well. It has surrendered. And the naval battle is over. We have more or less cut the British Navy in half. Would be nice if we could catch that one. But, yeah. The American Navy is victorious. I think to make the campaign a little bit more difficult and a little bit more interesting, I think you could have started off with a lot bigger forces for both sides. And maybe a lot more built up territory in the start as well. And yeah, a lot more forces, and then has maybe have the British need to be a lot superior to the American one to make it interesting to play, or at least, I mean, you could, since they want you to be able to play as both, you know, it would depend, so you would make sure that the campaign you're playing is difficult enough that it's interesting. So for the Americans, you would maybe, you know, you would I don't know, but you would balance in it in a way. Right now, it seems as though I'm just running across the British. And, I mean, if I was playing as the British, I'd probably be able to do the same against the Americans. Even quicker, maybe, since the Americans only hold 3 territories. So, the campaign might be needed to be balanced. I wonder if they have put more effort into the sort of campaign-like structure that is put into the game, where you play it in episodes. But I haven't tested it out. It might be worth to test that out, because that could be maybe a lot more challenging and a lot more interesting. But with that said, let's you know, take this captured ship and make ready for landings on Newfoundland. Right, so here we go. We deployed 4 ships, but much bigger caliber and everything than the British. We managed to capture one of their ships, and rather than take the prize money, I'm gonna take the ship. And voila! Now I can, if I want to, it's open for me to attack and take this. What we're gonna do though is we're gonna have to move back and actually deploy or pick up a force. So I think the troops that are being recruited in New England, Boston, would be enough. So the Green Mountain Rangers and all of these colonial militia units would probably be enough to take out the troops they have here. They have 2 generals and then 2 units of Highland immigrants. So that won't be too hard for us, because once the ships have arrived, the cannons are ready as well. So no problem there. But yeah, as I've said, Jesus Christ, I have a lot of money. 1900. I make 15 a turn, yeah. That could probably certainly be balanced a bit, because we somehow is making tons of money. 13,000 from tax, and then 6,000 from trade. So I could possibly, you know what, let's go ahead and see. Let's talk to Britain. Terrifying and spectacular, yeah, we're both basically the same in terms of money and firepower, which is quite strange. I mean, it's, what, 1 or 2 years? It's not even 5 turns into the campaign and we're even with the British. I think maybe they should have balanced this a little bit better. Looks like the Indians might be ready to declare war on us anyways, even before I do it. Or at least the Iroquois, as they are right on my border. Anyways, this will be episode 3, so I hope you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!